All right, let's talk some running backs, doing some running back tiers here. So the way it works is there's 5 tiers. Let's start bottom to top and just go through every single team's running back room. So we're not ranking running backs itself. It's every team's running back room. So backups are included here. And let's just get into it with the bottom tier, the bottom 5. So bottom tier, I think some teams might be unhappy that they are here. Some people say, oh, we should be higher than bottom tier. But the Rams, Lions, Dolphins, Texans, and Chiefs are the bottom 5. The Chiefs, Clyde Edwards-Helaire is fine, but I don't know. I don't know if he should be a starter at this point. I think he's a good number 2 guy. And then Ronald Jones, who is a good runner, can't do much else though. Horrible in pass protection, and not a receiver either. So good runner though. So he does have value that way. And then Jerick McKinnon, who is a solid player, but again, no one really jumping out at me. You're going to have decent players. You're an NFL team. Like, this isn't too exciting for me, even though, again, who knows how it works out. Maybe Ronald Jones will return to his college form and look awesome. It's possible to say. Maybe the Andy Reid scheme will be perfect for him. Number 31, you have Marlon Mack, who, I like Marlon Mack. I think he's good. I think, again, he's been a consistent, top 30 running back, but there's 32 teams. So, that only gets you so far when he's your starter. I also like Dameon Pierce a lot as a rookie. I could see him kind of stepping up and making this room look a lot better. And the nice thing about the Texans room is they have a lot of guys, because you also have Rex Burkhead there, and Ngumbawale and Royce Freeman. So good group of guys. Got a lot of players, but just who's the star here? Who's the starter? I don't know. And it kind of feels the same way with the Dolphins. Like Chase Edmonds. I like Sony Michel. I like Raheem Mostert, and I like Myles Gaskin. But don't love any of those guys. They also have an undrafted free agent who should be interesting in Zaquandre White, so maybe he's the guy, but it's just not a lot of stars here. The Lions, again, some people like DeAndre Swift. His some of his advanced metrics were not good last year. Jamal Williams is solid, so you have those 2 guys who are, again, they're fine. I don't hate either of them. I could see Swift taking a step forward, but Swift also just can't stay healthy. That's the main thing about Swift is the advanced metrics are a little bit concerning, but it's he's not even on the field, so how can I really define this? So, needs to stay healthy. That's a big thing. And then for the Rams here, to round out the bottom tier, Cam Akers, who did not look great when he came back from the injury, but he came back from the injury so quick, maybe he just needs more time. You also have Henderson, and then you drafted Kyren Williams, who in the 5th round, who I'm actually interested in. He might end up being the starter. So again, everyone on this list has several guys, so I'm like, oh yeah, I like that guy, but it just, you have to do a little bit better if you're going to pass some of the other guys on this list that, again, you'll see a lot of good running backs out there. The next tier, I have the Bills, Eagles, Bucs, Giants, Steelers, and Balls. So, Balls being the Washington football team, of course. Starting with the Washington football team, they drafted Brian Robinson, who I liked. They drafted him in the 3rd round. I think he's a good running back. I think he'll help them. Antonio Gibson, I think he's solid. Some people really like Gibson. I'm not one of those people. But, again, he's solid for sure. You also have J.D. McKissick. So, again, 3 guys who can play, but who's the star here? 26, some people will say Najee Harris is a star. I didn't see it. He got a lot of carries. I thought he looked fine, and he was against a bad offensive line, so I'm not I don't care about yards per carry with him, because, bad offensive line, all that. That looked good. I like what I saw from Najee Harris, but I wasn't blown away. Najee Harris wasn't, he wasn't one of these, very good. He didn't have Ezekiel Elliott's rookie season. You know what I mean? He was fine. He looked as good as a rookie. Maybe he'll get better. I also don't love their depth. Benny Snell is their number 2. He's going to get carries, so I factor that in. That's what puts them at 4. And for the Giants at 25, again, Saquon Barkley is electric when he's on the field, but he's never healthy, and I have to factor that into my equation. This is the prediction of what's going to happen next year, and if I'm going to predict, a guy who plays a very physical position that consistently gets hurt, I'm not going to put you too high, even though I really like you as a player for Saquon Barkley. Matt Breida is their backup, which I wouldn't love him being the star. For the Buccaneers here at 24, Leonard Fournette was legitimately good last year. He had a good season last year. I think a lot of people maybe didn't realize how good he was last year, but still 1 year sample size and a career that has not been spectacular for Fournette. Played great in the playoffs, was very fun, and we don't win the Super Bowl without him. But how much of a star is he? I don't know. They drafted Rachaad White in the 3rd round. You have Keyshawn Vaughn, Gio Bernard. They have guys in this running back room, but it really is on Fournette's shoulders, and we'll see what he can do. And they paid him a lot, so they better hope he does well. For the Eagles, some people really love Miles Sanders. I like Miles Sanders. Same thing with Kenneth Gainwell, and probably same thing with Boston Scott. Those are 3 good running backs. But so that's the nice thing is you have depth. It's unlikely that you'll have bad running back play. So that's what I like about the Eagles running back room, certainly. But I just don't know if I, again, love any of these guys. You have the Bills here at 22 to round out tier 4. Again, Devin Singletary, I like. And it's funny because I keep saying, like, I like these guys. But that's true. That's kind of how I just feel. It's like, yeah, I like him. I like Zach Moss. Duke Johnson's fine. James Cook, I'm not sure if I would have drafted him in round 2, but he's an interesting piece to add to this puzzle. But again, there's other better running back rooms. But again, none of these are horrible. Moving on to tier 3, the biggest of the tiers, the Raiders, Jets, Falcons, Cowboys, Cardinals, Bears, Ravens, Vikings, 49ers, and Chargers are all on this tier. The Chargers have Austin Eckler, who is awesome, but again, I don't know what else they have. And maybe awesome is a bit too strong of a word. He's very good, but again, what else do you have here? Like Isaiah Spiller, who was a 4th-round pick. I guess he's the number 2 guy. They could use some depth, I think. So that's kind of what hurts them. 49ers have plenty of depth, and you have Elijah Mitchell, and let's be honest, they're going to figure something out. They're going to figure out a way to make this work. But Trey Sermon, who was kind of a weird pick when it happened, a 2021 3rd-rounder, who it still feels like a weird pick, and even like Tyron Davis-Price was kind of a weird pick when it happened. Maybe it'll work out, maybe it won't. You got Jeff Wilson in there, and they'll figure some way out. Some undrafted free agent we never heard of will be good, but just the talent on the roster, 20th feels right for me. The Vikings, the talent on the roster at 19 does not feel right for me because Dalvin Cook is obviously better than, just by himself should be a lot better. And Alexander Mattison is a solid number 2 guy. The issue is just, Dalvin, again, health matters. I pay attention to that stuff. Cook's had too many injuries, too much wear and tear. He falls on the list for me. The Ravens at 18, another team where, again, if J.K. Dobbins is healthy, maybe they get up higher. Gus Edwards has a 5.2 yards per carry. I had no idea about that. I think someone mentioned it in one of my question of the day videos, and I was like, I had no idea. That's crazy. Mike Davis also, who played great for the Panthers, not so great for the Falcons. An interesting, flyer on him. I thought Justice Hill was going to be good, the 4th-round pick from 2019. That didn't work out. But I like J.K. Dobbins a lot when he's on the field, so we'll see if that works out. Again, a lot of good running backs. That's kind of why you shouldn't draft a running back in the 1st round, right? Because how many great running backs have I listed in the bottom half of the list here? There's a lot of good running backs. The Bears, David Montgomery, I like a lot. Khalil Herbert, I like a lot. And Darrington Evans should be fine depth. So really good 1-2 punch with Herbert and Montgomery. And maybe Herbert might end up being the better guy. I mean, he looked really good when he was on the field last year. So that's exciting. Cardinals at 16, James Conner was great last year. So we'll see if that continues. And Darrell Williams should be fine depth on top of it. Maybe even better than fine depth. Good depth, I would say. The Cowboys are so interesting to me at 15 because they're a team where if you told me Tony Pollard is the starter and Ezekiel Elliott is the backup, I'd be like, oh, wow, great running back room. But that's not what they do. Elliott is still the starter for some reason. Pollard has outplayed Elliott, but Elliott has a contract, so they don't want to feel like they're wasting it, even though you're just wasting him more if you do it that way. But again, 2 good talented halfbacks. Elliott's not a bad halfback by any means, but Pollard's been really good. So that's an interesting room, certainly. The Falcons, so Cordell Patterson, if he plays like he does next year, they will be much better than tier 3. But will he play like he did last year? I just don't know. So because of that, there's a question mark. But Tyler Algier, who I liked, he was a top 5 running back for me, goes in round 5 to the Falcons. So that's interesting. You also have Damian Williams. So, got some players there. For the Jets here, so you have Breece Hall, who they drafted in the 2nd round, who I liked a lot. I don't love drafting a running back that high. I think that was stupid. I don't get why you do that, especially when you're not immediately trying to compete. So don't love that asset management, but, he's still a good player, so still will help them. Michael Carter, who I thought was good. Tevin Coleman and Ty Johnson, good depth as well. So a lot of good stuff for the Jets here. And then for the Raiders at number 12, Josh Jacobs is the headliner, and he's still good. Like, Josh Jacobs, was the former 1st-round pick, who I think has lived up to the hype of a 1st-round pick running back. It's just that, you only get so much value from that. Kenyon Drake is also should be good depth, kind of a weird contract, but again, put a lot of assets into this running back room, but they made it work. And Zamir White, who they just drafted in the 4th round, should be good. Also added Brandon Bolden for whatever that's worth. They have him. So tier 2 now, we're getting down to it. So we have the Broncos, Jaguars, Bengals, Seahawks, Panthers, and then at number 11, the New Orleans Saints, who have Alvin Kamara, and if he's on the field, then they're tier 1, but he's not always on the field, so they're tier 2. Mark Ingram, also good depth there. Same thing with the Panthers. Literally the exact same thing. It's like Christian McCaffrey's awesome, but how long is he on the field? You have Chuba Hubbard, you have Donta Foreman. Those guys are both solid, good depth, but like you want to star. Number 9, the Seahawks. Rashad Penny was legit good in the sample size we saw from him. You have Kenneth Walker, who is, he was my favorite pure rusher of the football last year. Hated that draft selection. You're rebuilding and you draft a running back this early. That makes no sense, but I really like the player. And Chris Carson, again, he has like the injury stuff, which I hope he gets okay with that, but because he is so good on the field. But that's the life of a running back, right? It's dangerous. Number 8, Joe Mixon for the Bengals gets them to number 8. You also have Samandre Pirine, who had some good moments. Is a depth guy, but had some good moments, and even Chris Evans there. We'll throw him in there as well. But Joe Mixon is the headliner, of course. And then for the Jaguars at number 7, Travis Etienne should be healthy. James Robinson should be freed from Urban Meyer, so that should be a really good 1-2 combo. And then finally, the Broncos with Javonte Williams, who was really good as a rookie, and Melvin Gordon, who, listen, they're paying him money. Don't love paying a running back money, but he's good. So at least some of these teams are paying money for like a bad running back. Like, Tampa Bay is paying Leonard Fournette money to be a tier 4 running back room. At least you're like, a tier 2 fringe tier 1 running back room by paying running backs money. Finally, top tier, Packers, Colts, Browns, Titans, and number 5, the Patriots, who have Damian Harris, who is one of the real underrated running backs in this league, Ramondre Stevenson, who's one of the real underrated running backs in this league, and James White, who's one of the real underrated running backs in this league. So you got 3 really good players who, are all capable of being great in specific moments, good depth. Love that. That's why they're here. Number 4, Titans, who I couldn't put any higher, they're tier 1, so, you get the same value, but whether you're 1 or 5 on my algorithm thing. But, the Titans, the reason why I didn't put them higher is just because Derrick Henry is coming off an injury. I know he's an alien. I know he's different than everyone else, but, it's concerning. But he's awesome when he's on the field, obviously. He's the best. Like, he's not going to be the 4th best running back in football next year, right? Either he's going to be the best or he's going to be, like, not close to the best. That's what's going to happen, it seems like. And then, their depth is nothing. Like, Hassan Haskins, a 4th rounder, Dontrell Hillard, like, they need Henry to be the guy, I think. But again, running backs are weird. Who knows what's going to happen? Number 3, so the Browns have Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, and Dearness Johnson. Dearness Johnson looked great when he was on the field, and Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt are obviously awesome themselves. So, only 2 running back rooms I like better than that. One is the guy who, was an MVP candidate last year in Jonathan Taylor, who was Pro Football Focus's highest rated running back last year. He was everyone's highest rated running back last year. He was fantastic. And even Naheem Hines and Philip Lindsay make for good depth, but they want Jonathan Taylor to be the guy. And that is why I have the Packers at 1, is because I feel like most of these teams are 1 injury away in a sport where, those guys get injured a lot from dropping significantly. The Packers are 2 injuries away from dropping significantly because they have Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. A.J. Dillon was unbelievable last year. When he was on the field and he got decent playing time, I thought he was fantastic. And when you add on Aaron Jones on top of it, what he can do in the receiving game, Aaron Jones is the Packers' best deep threat. So he should be fantastic. And I don't know, I really like this running back room. So those are my tiers. That is everyone ranked 1 through 32. Every time you make a list like this, people are going to get upset, but, that's kind of it's tough to make lists like this. And I think for running backs especially, I think when I made this list, I was surprised at, how many teams that I felt like had solid running back rooms be tier 5 or tier 4, just because there's so many good running backs right now. That's kind of what I thought. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.